Are we live? Are we live? Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Radke Show. I'm your host, Melissa Radke, and we were supposed to come on here like, I don't know, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time. It's like 8:30 now. I can't seem to get my world in order in the mornings. And I'm going to tell you why right now. Because what is going on, schools? What is going on? Whenever I feel like whenever we get to this part of the school year, sometimes my kids go and sometimes they don't. And sometimes they don't have to be there till 10 o'clock. And sometimes they have to be there at 5 in the morning. I mean, it's so confusing. So I get up this morning and I go hi to everybody that's watching. I go and I work out like a good girl. And then I come home and I try to do my Bible study, but everybody keeps interrupting me. And that's just making me angry. Okay. That's just making me mad. You know how hard it is to read the Bible when you're really ticked at people? It's hard. Then I got to take Rocco to school, which then brings me back. Then we had a work emergency, which David is actually handling right now. He is here this morning and he will be on here shortly, but he is handling a work emergency. And between all of that, this is what I look like. And I've just decided this might be what I look like for the rest of the day. And everybody's going to have to be fine with it. As my granny says, what's it matter? We're all going to go to heaven happy. She would say that no matter what. If you ate something you didn't like, she'd say, hey, we're going to go to heaven happy. One time we said, I think there's a fly in this ice, in these ice cubes. And she said, hey, we're going to go to heaven happy, which I took to mean just suck down that fly and nobody, just pretend like it didn't happen. It scared us sometimes. And when she would say it, and oftentimes I thought, are we, Granny? Because your attitude is not peak. It's not peak. But anyway, so that's what's going on today. That's why I look like this. Of course, if you're listening to this by podcast, you don't care. You don't care why I look like this. You just know it's me, Melissa Radke, your bestie, checking in with you. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Y'all, listen to this. I am drinking. Y'all, look what I'm drinking. It looks like I'm drinking a cup full of mashed potatoes. I'm not. Okay. It's just that I don't have a spoon with me and it's not really melted. But here's what I did last night. And I'm just trying some different things. I got me one of those Ninja Creamies. And so I've been trying different drinks and stuff. The first day, David and I tried homemade ice cream. And then we were like, get thee behind me, Satan, not today. Okay. So we haven't done that since. But what I did last night was I took the little pint thing that you put your liquids in, and I just opened up a Premier Protein coffee. I think it's called Cafe au lait or something like something fancy, coffee latte or whatever. And I just opened it up and I poured it into the pint, and then I froze it. I added nothing else, and I froze it. And then this morning I took it out. It froze overnight. I took it out, and then I added about half a cup of coffee. Just about half a cup, and then put it in the Ninja Creamy, and it blended it up. And so this is a really high protein smoothie. But y'all, there was way more in there than just this. And I don't want to drink that much. Like, this is a lot. So this is probably like 30 grams of protein, but it's real frozen right now. And if I had a spoon with me or a straw with me, it would be absolutely perfect. I suppose I could use this pen. If you're listening to this on a podcast, you don't know this right now, but I'm just stirring this with a pen. This is what this is what Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon and all the Jimmys do. Okay. Do they then suck their pen? I don't know. So it's okay. I wish it had more of a coffee taste to it. But hey, it's way better than most protein smoothies. I can't stand protein smoothies, but this is pretty good. I mean, it's okay. It just tastes like it's like a Wendy's Frosty with no, taste is what it is. But anyway, it's good. It's a lot of protein. I'm doing the shots now, y'all. I don't know if y'all know that I'm doing the shots. We'll see what happens. Because I lost, like 55 pounds on my own. But y'all, it's really slowed down. And so I'm taking the shots now, and people are just like, get your protein. So that's what I'm trying to do. Normally it'd be intermittent fasting, but I'm just really going to try to get my protein in. So that's that. Anyway, again, if you're just tuning in, David's working on something. We had a little work emergency, but I don't need him, y'all. I could do this whole entire show by myself and it would be killer. It'd be killer. I mean, he adds a lot because I'm in love with him, but I mean, really, I think I got this. Yesterday was Mother's Day. Hope you all had a wonderful Mother's Day. If you're watching right now, let me know how it went. I won't know what you say because I don't have my readers with me and I can't read your comments. But I hope it went good. I'll tell you this. It was a heck of a lot better than ours. It was a heck of a lot better than mine. So if you follow me online, let's go ahead and jump into it really quickly. I don't want to spend all day on it by any means. But in our family, there are several members of our family. There's me and David and Remy and Rocco. And then there's our animals. And they are members of our family. They just are. They are in pictures with us. They are like family pictures. I kid you not. And we lost one yesterday. Saturday morning, I walked out my back door out of my bedroom. And my dog, Nashville, Tennessee, my golden retriever for the last 12 years of our lives, had collapsed on my back porch. I said, "Get up, you grumpy old thing. Get up, old man." Just kind of tapped him with my foot, and he wasn't responsive. And I started screaming for David. And luckily, my brother-in-laws were in town, and they helped us get him into the car, and we rushed him to the animal hospital. And we didn't know. And Nash was eaten up with cancer, just eaten up with it, which is very, honestly, high probability of that with golden retrievers. But he'd been such a great dog and appeared to be healthy. Really, he did. In fact, he had had a checkup about 6 months before, and they noticed nothing. They didn't do any scans or anything on him because why would you pay to have that when, he's not showing any signs of it? And he was just eaten up with it. And so he collapsed, and he did wake up, of course, but he wouldn't eat, he wouldn't drink. And he just got progressively, worse. And so we got a call Sunday morning. We were all getting up to get the showers and do all the things to head to church, and got the call. He's just miserable, and this is not looking good. And honestly, if we don't do something, he very well may pass. So the four of us went up there in our pajamas. And I will tell you, this animal hospital was wonderful, precious to us, put us in a little private room on a Sunday. Nobody was there. We rang the doorbell to go in. The doctor left her house and came. I mean, they were wonderful to us. And that was Angelina Animal Hospital. And I just couldn't say enough about them. They were great to us. And we got to spend about 45 minutes just loving all over him. And don't think he didn't know it, and loved it. Loved it. And then they came in and they did what they do. And he just fell sound asleep in David's lap. And that really was our fifth family member. And it was David's dog all the way. Supposed to be mine. Supposed to be mine when we got him. But he loved his daddy, and so he followed David everywhere. And, years ago, when I lived in Nashville, I would drive to work every single day listening to the Big 98, WSIX, the Big 98. And it was country station. And I loved the DJ in the morning. I love him. I loved him. He's passed now. Jerry House. And I would listen to him every single morning. And I remember this, out of all the things that he ever said, I remember him saying on this one particular day, "We got a puppy this weekend. My wife got a puppy." And of course, his co-hosts were like, "Really?" They were so excited. And he's like, "Don't be excited about that. Don't be excited. You know what I told my wife? You just bought a heartbreak. You just bought a heartbreak. anytime you bring a dog into your family, you essentially, whether they were a stray and they were free or they were, you bought them, you just bought a heartbreak. You just signed up for a heartbreak. That's what now, are they going to bring you joy? Absolutely. Are they going to love you and you love them? Absolutely. But it is going to end in heartbreak. It just is. If you die first, that dog's going to have a heartbreak. If they die first, you're going to. And I thought of that yesterday as I was laying there loving on Nash. We bought a heartbreak, but man, was it worth it. It was so worth it. And he was just absolutely joy. Absolute joy. On another note, I went to Nashville 2 weeks ago, and had to drive in for meetings every morning. I took my girlfriend's car. She let me borrow her car, and I took it in every morning until I was driving the roads of Nashville again. It was so beautiful. And I turned on the big 98 WSIX. And it is no longer Jerry House, because I think he'd be like 104 now if he's still alive. Instead, in the mornings on this radio station is Bobby Bones. Okay, the Bobby Bones Show. You guys, I have heard the name Bobby Bones over and over and over, but I did not know who he was. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So now, like this morning, I took Rocco to school, and I got on my my iHeartRadio podcast, and you can type in WSIX, and then it comes up. It's like whatever they're listening to in Nashville, I'm now listening to. Can we just talk about technology for a second? Can we just talk about technology? Okay, that is unreal. So now I can listen to the Bobby Bones Show. And do y'all know who he is? I hear people talk about him all the time, but I didn't know who he was. But I think he does really, really good. He's just very ordinary. I mean, he's not doing anything that God knows I couldn't do in my sleep. But I loved it. I told my girlfriend that. She's like, oh, he gets on my nerves. But I don't know why. I loved it. So now I'm listening to the Bobby Bones Show, which, by the way, listen to me telling y'all essentially what you should go and listen to instead of to me. Lord help me. Okay, now I can see your comments. A lot of things on here I don't care about. I don't care about some of the things y'all are telling me. I always listen to iHeart. Really? Really? Because you should be listening to the Radke Show. So shame on you, Roberta. Actually, it wasn't Roberta that said that. Amy is my niece, said Peggy Smith. I don't know why Peggy Smith said that. Peggy, I don't care who your niece is. Maybe Amy's on the show. I don't know. I'm going to tell you this. I looked over at the big screen with my face on it. This is terrifying. This is terrifying. Your girl needs some color is what I'm saying. Vegas has a station that plays Bobby Bones. Oh, Amy is she goes, Amy is the co-host. Suddenly I care. Suddenly I care about your niece. Peg? Really? Now, see, here's the thing, Peggy. Like, I don't know all of the co-hosts and stuff like that well enough to know, like, oh, Amy said this the other day, but I can't wait to get to know. I just love that kind of stuff. Like, I would listen to talk radio sometimes more than I would music. I like when they talk. I like it. So I'm so excited, Peggy. I feel like you're famous. That's my mom's name. Who is that? And what? That's my mom. Okay. You know what? I can't with y'all this morning. Anyway, David Radke is done. I don't know what he's doing, but he's back. But I wanted to go ahead and tell you guys about Nash and just move on from that. Because David, I'm going to tell you right now, he ain't no mood to talk about it. He ain't no mood. And I don't blame him one single bit. I don't know if his emotions are the reason why he's wearing a long sleeve turtleneck. I don't know that. I don't know. I can't know it. I can't know it. You know what I'm saying? My little nephew, when he was very little, my mom asked him a question and he looked at her and he said, Noni, I can't know it. And now we say that in this family all the time. I don't know why he's dressed like a priest, but I'm going to let him do it. Even though it's 108 degrees outside, I'm going to let him do it because he's feeling a bunch of emotions today and he's all up in his feels. And he sent Remy to the store last night to buy him Dutch chocolate ice cream, Bluebell ice cream. And when he eats it out of the carton, it means he is sad. I was wondering why it was so black behind me. Okay, you know what? We can't get it together. Anyway, speaking of what David has on, anybody want to take a gander at what I've got on? If you're listening to this on podcast, you don't know, so let me describe it. In biblical days, okay, in biblical days, when people got upset, they would rend their garments, and that means they would just tear them in two. Well, imagine that the garments that they were rending were just like what I have on, okay? You couldn't ask for simpler, okay? This is just fabric with 2 armholes, and it's got a V-neck in the front and a V-neck in the back. The woman that made this probably made it literally in 13 minutes. I'm not kidding you. And it's white. And it's because I went on Etsy and I typed in, okay, I'm not going to lie about it. I'm going to tell y'all the total truth. I typed in moo. I didn't even know how to spell it. At first I put M-O-O-M-O-O. Then it corrected me that it's M-U-M-U, which just seems French and fancy. I'll go with it. I typed in moo. This came up. It goes a little bit below my knees, and it's just a goodly amount of fabric with 2 armholes and a neck hole. That's all it is. I wore it on Saturday. We had a Mother's Day get together at my mom's house. First, everybody, swam and we had hot dogs and all that kind of stuff. And I wore it, and every woman in my family goes, "What do you have on? I want to get me one of those." I mean, because it looks so comfortable and it's really cool. Now, this is in white, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be my summer uniform. I'm going to get it in red. I'm going to get it in pink. I'm going to get it in turquoise. I'm going to get it in all the things. Okay. But I absolutely love it. So go to Etsy, Mama, which is French for moo, and see what comes up. Okay. I love it. I love it. And on the videos and on the little, like the video of the woman wearing it or the little pictures or what, she added a belt to it. No, not going to happen. David, do you like this moo or is it just me?
It's a moo, you know. Can you really like a moo or is it just,
I can, and I do.
Utilitarian.
David, please don't say that what I'm wearing is utilitarian. That makes me sound like we're in the dystopian era. We've got to kill each other for our food.
I realize that I'm going to have to work on our coloring, or I'm going to have to get outside because I can't tell where my face
ends and my moo begins. Because honestly, David, do you remember the time when we lived in Nashville and we went home for Christmas and your mom saw you and she asked you if you had some kind of virus? That was that is the exact words. She said, "David, do you have some kind of virus?" Because I've never seen anybody be an overachiever when it comes to being white. You are an overachiever, David. You say there's white and then there's David Von Radke. No, that's not helping either. How are you today?
I'm here.
I know you're kind of blue.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the rest of our weekend. And that's not helping either. We can talk about this though, because
what did we do on Friday? What was Friday?
Well, what was Friday? David, were we here? Were we alive? What did we do on Friday? I don't like that when literal days leave my mind. I don't like that. What, David? It's freaking me out right now. What did we do on Friday?
Did we go? Oh, we had lunch with your parents.
We sure did.
Yeah.
And then they invited us back over to their house, and that was weird because it's made it sound like we had something to talk about. Like first of all, they texted us and said, "Y'all want to go to lunch tomorrow?" And we were like, sure. And then we went to, which I know y'all are probably thinking, why is that weird? I don't know. It just always like going to lunch with my parents. It just kind of happens, you know, usually it's me that's initiating it, but they did. Then we met for lunch. And then at the end of lunch, my mom says, why don't y'all come with us back to over to the house? And I was like, oh gosh, is my dad going to talk about his will or something? Is this the conversation that we have where my dad says, I can't find my lawnmower. Do y'all have it? Which we have had that conversation 1,000 times. To which I'm like, don't you think you would have seen us driving off in your lawnmower? Don't you think so? But anyway, but we went back over to their house and you know what it was? Guess what it was? It was that Annette had a closet full of clothes she was going to get rid of. They just swallow her now. And she wanted to see if I'd be interested in them. So that's what the conversation was about. But we had a good time with them. And then honestly, we went back to our house and did absolutely nothing on Friday night. And I loved every second of it. We watched Unfrosted. Unfrosted. Yeah. Unfrosted on Netflix with Jerry Seinfeld and Melissa McCarthy. Let me just stop you right now. If you plan on watching it, all you have to have is a second grade education. Okay? That's it. No joke will be over your head.
But it was cute. It
was very, very clean. It was very, very silly. It was just absolute. Now, I've been doing fine. I have been doing fine and dandy, and I don't need you. You know what? I've got a great idea. Those of you who are listening to this on podcast, he's trying to pull me over into the screen. Why don't you move the dadgum camera? You were just up there. This is where I'm going to sit because I like to turn and talk to you. So go make amends to the camera and do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. It was Jerry Seinfeld, Melissa McCarthy, a bunch of other people from like Saturday Night Live. And it was just silliness. Have y'all seen it? I started it, but had to quit, says Tanya. We watched it too. It was so dumb. All right. Yeah, it's fun. Somebody said, have you all watched Gone Girl on Apple? Okay. All right. I'm going to stop you right there, Gleaton. Lacey Gleaton just asked this question. Lacey, I'm assuming that you mean the movie starring Ben Affleck from, I don't know, 40, 50 years ago.
Oh, is that on Apple?
It's on Apple TV because it's like one of those that's like Apple will upload a bunch of like free movies and you can just watch these movies this month for free and then they go away and then they put I mean, is that the one you're talking about? Because it was a pretty big deal when it came out when I was in the 5th grade. Yes, we've seen it. We've all seen it. Everybody has seen it. Even people that hate movies or Ben Affleck have seen it. Don't ask us about a movie that's that old. I don't know. Have you seen Smokey and the Bandit? Have you?
In fairness, she might have been gone when it came out.
Go on right now, girl. Be a gone girl on it. Okay. How about this?
My question is this. There has been a couple of documentaries about the real life Gone Girl. Do you get confused when those come on? Like before this weekend, have you been confused going, what do they mean, the real life?
The real life Gone Girl.
Who's the unreal Gone Girl?
I know. I know the Golden Girls. Are they gone? They are. Oh, she's probably really confused right now.
Lacey, she jabbed you back.
What'd she say?
She said, if you were in the 5th grade, no, I wasn't alive.
Okay. David's doing a tip of the hat gesture. David, if this is going to go on a podcast, we've got to tell everybody, we've got to be like when you put subtitles on. David is tipping of the hat now.
David walks into the shot.
David knocks at the door.
Camera switches to close-up of Melissa.
People see Melissa's close-up. All right. Speaking of documentaries, let's talk about that woman that's come out about Baby Reindeer. Now, I'm just going to tell you right now, Baby Reindeer is a show on Netflix. It's a series on Netflix about a comedian who was tending bar. A woman walked into the bar. He did comedy shows at night, and he wasn't very good. And a woman comes into the bar. He gives her a free drink because he feels sorry for her. And then she goes on to stalk him, coming to his shows, heckling him, sending him 80 emails a day. I'm not kidding you. Texts. It's just craziness. I don't suggest you watch Baby Reindeer. It was very disturbing. Very disturbing.
So it's like, there's rom-coms, and this is like a rom-stalk.
Stalk-com. Lacey, you'll want to check it out in the year 3000. Okay? You'll want to check it out then.
In the year 3000.
Okay, but anyway, now, I didn't know this. I didn't know that the guy who starred in the movie was the actual one being stalked. Like he wrote it about his life and about this situation, and he stars in it. I didn't know that. Well, now the real lady has come out, and she's been interviewed on Piers Morgan.
She's not in jail, or?
No, she's not. And I'm going to tell y'all something. How do I best want to tell this part of the story?
Is it?
She cried.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs?
She cried. The kids would say she's the Lulu. And I would say that too. At one point, she was like, I was never in love with him. I never stalked him. I did not text him. And Piers Morgan goes, let me ask you this question though. Did you have your email address? Did you ever have more than one email address? He says. She says, I have 7 or 8, maybe 9. And he said, you have 7 or 8 email addresses? And she said, is that peculiar? I don't feel like that's peculiar. I feel like a lot of people do that. So you just have different ones, and some people would not know all of your. He's like, so right now you're telling me you have 7 or 8, and the reason is that so people won't know who. Like, she's literally showing herself to be crazy. You know what I'm saying?
So the title is he the baby reindeer, or is she the baby reindeer? Where does that come from?
She refers to him all the time as baby reindeer. Because when she was young, she had a stuffed animal that was a baby reindeer, and she never wanted to let go of it. Now, whether that part's true or not, I don't know. But yeah, it's weird. It's a weird deal. It's a weird deal. And that's what, you want me to go and do comedy clubs, David, and I don't want to, because you know how many men will stalk me? So many. And you know what they'll call me? Big Polar.
Big Polar?
Big Polar Bear.
They had a big...
Instead of baby reindeer, I'm Big Polar.
They had a polar bear, they couldn't get rid of it, kept coming back.
Because, it's white moo-moo, David. I'm Big Polar. All right? And I don't know why, but y'all calling me Big Polar is hurtful in the comments, but me calling it funny. Y'all calling me that? Hurtful.
Okay.
Refrain.
Would it be inappropriate if you and I started a podcast and it was called Big Polar, and it was just like I guess you'd call it a mockumentary it's a mockumentary of the Big Polar stalking.
What are you talking about?
I'm just saying, if we did a comedic mockumentary, and instead of it being called Baby Reindeer, we call it Big Polar.
First of all, though, what is the opposite of a reindeer? Honestly,
Santa Claus.
I'm not going to do one called Big Santa. Okay, Baby Reindeer, Big Santa. What's the opposite of reindeer?
I don't know if there's an opposite of reindeer.
Okay, so if we called it Big Polar, and then it was just a mockumentary, and you would be the stalker and I would be the comedian, and then what would the mockumentary sound like? Like this? Okay, like this. I
think it would be flipped. I think in this case, you would be the Big Polar, and you kept talking about how guys were stalking you. But
someone said
were
moose,
going,
big moose.
Well, stalking her. I've never spoke to her.
No, how about this? We call it Big Moose, and I'm the comedian, okay? And I stalk you, just a person who's just coming to the bar one time to get a drink. And I'm like this. So let's try it right now. Okay, ready? Hey, can I get you anything to drink?
Yeah, just a water. I ran out of gas. I just need to stick my head in here real quick.
Nobody cares, dude. I got a show tonight. You want to come to it?
Well, I just really.
I want you to come. 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 I want you to come.
Just a glass of water right now would be great.
Okay, I'm going to give you a glass of water. And then at the bottom of the glass is going to be my number and 7 of my email addresses. Okay? I'd like for you to text me every 5 minutes.
I'm sorry, you have 7 email addresses?
That's not weird. And don't say it's weird because it's not weird. Now, drink up. Would you like me to hold this glass up to your mouth and help you drink?
I think I'm
okay.
fine.
Okay, hold on. Later that evening. So I'm so glad to be here tonight, you guys. So glad that y'all could come to my comedy show. Wanted y'all to know I'm getting married. And look.
Everybody wave at Bob back at the bar.
I call him Baby Reindeer. He calls me Big Moose. We got it worked out. We're getting married.
No,
but see,
no,
then
we're
that,
not,
but then
actually.
it's over. Our mockumentary is over like that. I mean,
I think we could stretch it out a little bit longer.
I don't think we could.
But I also don't think it has to be like a 16-part.
I don't think we could stretch it out because you're talking to someone who is currently stirring her protein smoothie with a pin. So could we stretch it out? I don't know that we have what it takes, David. But I will tell you this. What are you doing up again? It's like this morning has been like doing this with Rocco. Okay? And by the way, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Don't even get us started on that. Don't even get us started on Rocco. Okay? He's about to kill us. He's about to kill us. And summer's coming. Tomorrow on the episode, we can talk about all the woes and the fears that we have going into summer with these kids.
How about we talk about all the job application he's going to put in the next couple of weeks?
Oh, y'all. Well, he's not going to, David. He told me it's illegal for a 15-year-old to work.
No, not in some. There's some places that you can. I mean, a machine shop, maybe not, but
we have these. Y'all have never seen our backyard, really, but we have these decks, 2 decks in our backyard around our pool, and they were built in the 80s. No, not the 80s, but they were built. I mean, some 30 years ago. So they're all warped, and when you stand on them, your foot goes through, and then you want to sue the people, but then you realize you are the people and you can't sue. And so it's really time to pull them up, to pull up every single rotting piece of wood and get rid of the decks.
Packing up the boards someone planted.
And so I asked my parents the other day, who do I hire? Do you just hire a handyman to do that? And then my parents were like, you don't hire anyone. You have a strong, able-bodied 15-year-old son.
And that's where they're wrong. He is not able-bodied.
And I mean, he is one step away from being Baby Reindeer. Okay. And so I told him that. And he's like, I can't believe that you would ask me to do something like that and then not pay me. And he was as serious as he could be. He's like, I don't understand that. If you got a handyman to do it, you would pay him. And I said, but he doesn't eat my food or sleep in my air-conditioned house. And he's like, that's just part of being your kid. He's like, Mom, I'm not kidding you. I can't make sense of it. I can't rationalize in my head why you wouldn't pay me for that. So can somebody give me in one sentence something that I can say back to him to get him to shut up about that? Because I'm not going to pay him.
I got one. That right there. I'm not going to pay you.
It's not working. It's not working, Dave.
The end. Go.
Okay, but don't make him get a job until he's pulled all that deck up. Y'all, it's going to be so easy to pull up. All of the nails have rotted. We're going to get him a good tetanus shot before he goes out there. Everything is going to be fine. I said, look, all you got to do is get a tetanus shot and some steel-toed boots because God knows they're snakes. Get you some rubber boots or the steel-toed boots or whatever. I don't know what the difference is. Steel-toed boots. And I said, because there's snakes out there. And he's like, what? This just keeps getting worse and worse. But I'm going to make him do it. So he's not getting a job. He has a job.
It sounds like you're going to have a job of continuing to oversee him.
No, David.
Not doing
It's
that.
called locking ye old doors. And I'm going to have to do it. David, I swear we are going to have an entire episode dedicated to the fact that you have 87 alarms set on your phone. And why would you have them set during this time?
Well, we've gone quite a bit over.
Sorry.
Is part of it.
Okay.
But I have a condition, and if I don't remind myself to do things, I will not do them.
I hope that alarm, when you looked at it, said, go get a tan. Because you do have a condition. All right, guys, we will see y'all tomorrow back on the Radke Show. Have a wonderful Monday, and we're going to see y'all on Tuesday. Okay? Okay, signing off, me and Big Moose. Big Moose and me. I'm Big Moose, and then Big Moose and David. Bye, y'all.